Hi again, third graders. Miss Whitford here, and I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks for writing your second paragraph for your essay. So I'm just going to go over kind of the introduction paragraph that I came up with, and this hopefully is a review. But if you were absent yesterday, then maybe this is something that you are welcome to use. So your introduction paragraph, you want to kind of introduce the reader to what you're going to be writing about. So in this example, it's going to be about planets. So you want to give them a little hook. I like to start with a question. I like to start with a did you know that? Because it's kind of like, oh, I do want to learn a little bit more about this. So my introduction paragraph is, did you know that there are 8 planets in our solar system? That's right. So that's kind of my hook where it's like, did you know that? And I'm like, oh, I bet the next thing that we're going to read is going to be about some different things in the solar system. And guess what? It sure is. So then I'm going to give a little more information. This is just, again, your introduction. So it's giving some background information. So did you know that there are 8 planets in our solar system? That's right. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are the inner planets, while Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are the outer planets. Inner planets are smaller and closer to the sun, while outer planets are bigger and are further away from the sun. So all of this over here, this part that I'm highlighting over here, this is just giving kind of like a little introduction, a little background information. Imagine that whoever is reading this has never learned about planets before, so this just gives you a little more information about that. Okay, and then my last sentence here is going to be my focus statement. My focus statement is going to kind of give an overall about what it is that you are going to be, that I'm going to be writing about and you're going to be reading about. So we have our 2 planets that we're comparing and contrasting. The ones that I've done here are Earth and Saturn. Earth and Saturn are both planets in our solar system, and they have some pretty interesting similarities and differences. So over here I have similarities. And that means that the next thing that I'm going to be writing, like the first thing I'm going to be writing about is going to be some of those similarities. And then the third paragraph, spoiler alert, that's where we're going to get to. That is going to be some differences. And then when I get to the third paragraph, I'm going to be writing about the differences. I know, it just makes sense, right? But today, we're only going to be working on writing about the similarities. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is start with an introduction sentence. It's like a topic sentence. It kind of tells the reader what your whole paragraph is going to be about. So I just put this here as some little notes, what your paragraph is going to be structured like. You're going to have an introduction sentence. You're going to add some facts to prove that introduction sentence, and then you're going to end it with a conclusion sentence. So I'll show you all of those things. But this is kind of like the basic formula for what you're going to do for your, this is your proof paragraph, but for paragraph 2. Okay, so I know I'm writing about some similarities about both of the planets. So I might start with something like Earth and Saturn actually have some similarities between them. You don't have to write exactly that. You could write something else like so over here, if you weren't writing about Earth and Saturn, you would put your 2 planets. So if you're writing about Venus and Neptune, you would have Venus and Neptune, or whatever planets it is you're writing about. You don't have to use the word actually. I use that a lot. I actually use the word actually a lot. But you could write, so your introduction sentence is going to be something about talking about you're going to be writing about things that are similar about the 2 planets. Okay, so now I have my introduction sentence. Might not be great, but this is still my rough draft. So I can always come back and kind of fix it, jazz it up a little bit later. So the next thing I need to do is add some facts to prove it. Well, I can check my notes. I can check my double bubble map, my note catcher, and talk about some similarities. So I might even number them and say like one way that they are similar, and then da-da-da-da. So let's see. One way that they are similar. Oh, let me move my video here. There we go. One way that they are similar is that, is that they are both planets. And they are in our solar system. That's true. They're both planets, okay? Let's think about another way. So then I might also write another similarity, or another way that they're similar is that they, let's see, what did I have in my notes? Oh, I know. Another similarity is that they both have moons. If I wanted to go even further, I could even give another little sentence about what a moon is. Just so, because if you think about it, maybe your reader doesn't know what a moon is. And this way they would be able to find that out and be like, oh, okay. I wouldn't go into any of the differences yet to talk about how Earth only has one moon and Saturn has a lot. I think it's 146 moons. But I would definitely write, you are welcome to add some information about that as well. I think I'm even going to put, when I come back to it, I'm going to put in brackets, I'm going to say, add some details about what a moon is. So that way I can describe it to the reader. But I will come back to that. That's just kind of it's a little note for myself because this is still my rough draft. Okay, so now I want to give a third similarity. They both have moons, they're both in our solar system. Oh, that's right, and they both revolve around the sun. One last way that they are similar is that they both revolve around the sun. Boom. Okay. So now I have my introduction sentence. So this is my introduction sentence. Earth and Saturn actually have some similarities between them. Okay. You could do something like that. You could write it a little bit different if you want to. Okay. Now, next I have my facts to prove it. One way that they are similar is that they are both planets and in our solar system. Another similarity is that they both have moons. And then I know later I'm going to come back and write some details about what a moon is. One last way that they are similar is that they both revolve around the sun. So here are my facts to prove it. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to add a conclusion sentence for my paragraph. Since I just talked about ways that they're similar, I'm just basically going to say what I told them, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's the secret to writing an essay. You tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. So here's tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. So I'm going to finish with a conclusion sentence. Might be something like, let's see, Earth and Saturn actually have some similarities between them. These two planets have some pretty interesting similarities. That could work as your conclusion sentence. You basically are just telling them what you just said. You're like, hey, I just told you about some interesting similarities. That's it. So now I have my conclusion sentence. On Monday, we are going to work on writing about some of the differences. If you are gung-ho and you have already finished writing this and you're like, yeah, I want to write about the differences, you can, making sure that you have your introduction sentence, details to prove what you are saying, and a concluding sentence. Okay, so those are some ways that you can write. And remember, this is just your rough draft. And I really can't wait to see what you guys come up with. You have some really good thoughts about planets and all those other things. So I'm excited to see what you come up with. And I will take a look at some of these on Monday. All right. Bye, my friends.